President Tinubu inaugurates more infrastructure projects in FCT, emphasizes strong institutions to safeguard democratic governance.
Our democracy is still evolving, and as it is growing, so too must the institutions that support and protect it.
It is our compass to raise infrastructure stock from the current 30 to 35% of GDP to at least 70% by the year 2043.
Federal government to fast-track viable private-public partnerships for infrastructural projects. Plus, mobility compressed natural gas supply framework begins as efforts for clean, cheaper alternative in transportation continues.
The authority chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency approved a concessionary pricing structure for autogas CNG.
Good evening and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Benny Adams will keep us up to speed with the latest in the world of sports. Benny, what's the latest in the market?
Well, the ease of doing business environment is set to get a boost as the Presidential and Labeling Business Environment Council takes a tour across the country to engage with investors to meet their needs.
All right, many thanks, Benny. Badi Adele is on sports updates. Badi, what do you have for us this night?
All right, Olajide, all is now set for the Super 8 playoffs of the Nigeria Youth League Cup as more results come in from the FIFA Club World Cup.
And of course, we'll be joining the Benue State Governor very soon via Zoom to talk more on the state of the security situation in Benue State. Remember, you can watch these broadcasts live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. This democracy is not a destination, but a journey, and therefore the institutions surrounding must be strengthened to safeguard people's freedom and protect the future democratic governance in Nigeria. This is the belief of President Bola Tinubu as he flagged off the construction of a new national headquarters annex for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja. State House correspondent Musbah Danwahab reports.
The National Electoral Umpire has been headquartered here for about 28 years. But then, current realities and exigencies demand an upgrade as the institution grows along with Nigeria's democracy.
For a long time, the Commission has been grappling with the problem of inadequate office accommodation. Our present national headquarters is severely congested.
The Federal Executive Council responded to the need in March this year with an approval for the construction of an annex building. And here, Tinubu's administration is giving an expression to its commitment toward strengthening national institutions. An annex to the Commission's headquarters will take off here on more than 1.5 hectares of land, with offices, accommodation, election monitoring room, media center, library, a 1,000 capacity auditorium, and more when completed.
INEC has been and remains the backbone of Nigeria's democratic journey. Its role in conducting free, fair, and credible elections is central to the trust our people place in their government and in our democratic process. For this reason, it is only right that such a pivotal institution is housed in a structure that reflects the dignity, responsibility, and national significance of that institution.
President Tinubu says this is a demonstration of his administration's support to INEC's autonomy, capacity, and growth as an institution playing a vital role of protecting the country's democracy.
Our democracy is still evolving, and as it is growing, so too must the institution that support and protect it. We are committed to ensuring that INEC is fully equipped, not only in infrastructure, but in law, policy, and resources to carry out its constitutional mandate with courage, fairness, and excellence.
This structure will be given all the time it is required to see that during your first tenure, this project is completed.
And it also perfectly aligned with the administration goal to support and provide national institutions with world-class infrastructure that reflects their importance and mandate.
The project is scheduled to be completed in 24 months. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NTA News.
And meanwhile, a new chapter has been opened in the public transportation sector of the FCTA with the inauguration of the bus and taxi terminal in Mabushi district. President Bola Tinubu presided over the inauguration of the newly constructed edifice. Onoze Yakubu was there and brought back this report.
The Mabushi bus terminal is to serve both inter- and intra-city transportation. In a renewed commitment to addressing security challenge, the FCT administration has rolled out plans to establish similar bus terminals in the satellite communities of Gwagwalada, Kuje, and Buari.
That the choice of the places where such terminals are to be constructed are influenced by strategic location, commercial viability, and the need to boost economic growth and inclusive development.
This project that we are about to commission is the 5th out of the 17 selected projects completed under the supervision of Mr. Project Barisayon Wiki. And this will definitely serve as a hub of opportunity.
Here, you know those who are drivers, so that you know the vehicle you are boarding to go to the other place. Assuming you want to go to Buari, you can come here, you can go to Kubo. We know the bus that you have boarded, and even when you come from Buari down to this place, the taxis here will also take you to where you are going to.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, says the provision of organized and secured public transportation is a bold step of ending informal transportation systems, thereby enhancing urban security and eco-friendly transport system.
With the completion of the Mabushi bus terminal and the Kubo terminal, which has been informed is also ready for commissioning, we are taking decisive steps to bring order, accountability, and safety to public transportation.
The project installed with modern facilities was delivered in 10 months. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
The federal government will fast-track approvals for viable infrastructural projects in the country, highlighting the critical role of basic infrastructure for economic development. Vice President Kashim Shettima said this when he declared open 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership Summit held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This summit brings together stakeholders from government, private investors, development partners, and civil society to co-create new frameworks, de-risk bankable projects, and strengthen institutional alignment towards project delivery. President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, urged private sector partners to be focused and more committed, noting that Nigeria offers scale, demand, and returns like no other African market.
The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan 2020 to 2043 remains our blueprint. It is our compass to raise infrastructure stock from the current 30 to 35% of GDP to at least 70% by the year 2043. But blueprints do not build roads. Policies alone do not generate megawatts. Your Excellencies, distinguished gentlemen, these goals require collective action, and that is the focus of the present administration.
Calling for a more strengthened public-private sector partnership that emphasizes innovation, efficiency, commitment, and integrity above mere capital and investments. He reaffirmed that the administration is still fully committed to that very public-private partnership that is passionate about delivering sustainable and inclusive infrastructure.
Government cannot provide all the resources. That is the truth. The private sector must come and share risk and also share profit. And that's what partnership is about. Thank you for providing the platform. And lastly, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, I want to thank you for the support that you've given to the private sector to excel.
A testament to Nigeria's readiness to lead, not just to follow, in the evolving global PPP ecosystem. Let me at this point assure our local and international investors that Nigeria is open for business, and more importantly, ready for partnership.
This summit is a rallying call for transformation, a platform for strategic convergence, and a bridge between national aspirations and tangible development. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria is assuring citizens that it's committed to host the UNESCO Category 2 Media and Information Literacy Institute to position Nigeria as a global leader in the responsible use of media and information in the digital era. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said this at a book launch by the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers while soliciting responsible online journalism and promised government continued support to a free and responsible press. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The proliferation of citizens' journalism has compounded the spread of fight against fake news, misinformation and disinformation. Guild of Corporate Online Publishers, through this maiden edition of a book, Nigeria Media Renaissance, is joining forces to sanitize Nigeria's media ecosystem.
Online publication is the future of the media industry, which governments and lawmakers have to support through enabling laws, tax exemptions, grants, among others.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation was emphatic that it is the duty of government to work with credible media groups to tell the Nigerian story in a way that inspires hope.
Once any platform, online platform, is seen to have published something that is fake, we have this penchant to think that, oh, it's just fake news and then it goes on. What is GOCOP doing to check those who are peddlers of this fake news? They told me that not all of them are members of GOCOP. I said, yes, I agree, but it is also an additional responsibility of GOCOP to call them out and say, these are not our members, they are peddlers of fake news, they are peddlers of misinformation.
The book is certainly a good account of the online publisher's commitment to uphold professionalism and ethical values.
Established in 2013, this body of online publishers seeks to ensure that members uphold the tenets of journalism in doing their job and to sanitize online publishing in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Kaudi Egbetokun, is in Benue State following the tragic incidents that occurred in the state, resulting in the death of some residents. A statement by the first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, indicates that Egbetokun commiserated with Governor Hyacinth Alia and assured that the police would bring the perpetrators to justice. He also visited the Yelwata community where he and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, assured them that their security would be enhanced going forward. We have joining us virtually the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, is to shed more light on the situation in Benue State at the moment. Good evening, Governor Alia. You're welcome to the Network News.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, what is the situation presently in Yelewata?
I assume I heard you well. What situation is in Yelewata now?
Yes,
first of all, Yelewata it's from my local government. It's one of our local governments that shares border with Nasarawa State. The carnage that took place a few days ago, it's described as quite unfortunate and very senseless. There's no cause whatsoever for the bloodbath. Unfortunately, it happened, and my heart goes out to all our families that are involved in this. I send my sympathies also to the entire state over what befell us a few days ago. And as at yesterday afternoon, the numbers of corpses stood at 127 that were buried. 18 bodies are yet to be buried. 2 are currently in the morgue. 20 people were taken to the teaching hospital, and we lost 2 of them. So the other 18 are in a stable condition as we speak. Again, as of yesterday afternoon, our searchers were able to recover 4 bodies that had spread all over the bushes in there. It's very possible that the numbers might rise again. There is a huge number that cannot be identified. These are bodies, these are human beings that were locked up in their own rooms and burnt. So we're only able to identify, give the numbers by the scores, by the bones and their own remains. So currently that's what we have. Again, it's possible that as the search continues, we might even have more bodies out there that may be picked up again.
Okay, so the conflict is said to be persistent. Herdsmen, farmers clashes. Some people have asserted that the attacks are well coordinated by armed militias. What is the cause of the hostilities?
Well, the common fact here is that the attacks are very coordinated. Historically, we can count that it started with farmer-herder conflicts, and then it graduated over time into this is vibrating and it's affecting me. So it now graduated into herder-farmer conflict. What we face now is directly the attackers, the bandits, the terrorists who come in only with their arms, the AK-47s and 49. And the aim can only be presumed, but how it plays out is when they come in, they push the people out, they kill people, and then after a week or 2, they bring in their own cronies for occupation. It's unfortunate that none has been apprehended all this while, because the trend of fighting they have brought to bear, it's more of a guerrilla war. So they come, strike, and disappear. So no one knows. We have very vast borders, even by this axis. We share border with Nasarawa State, we share border with Taraba and then Kogi by this axis, and then we also share border with Cameroon on the northeast of the state. But where now we do have most of these attacks from our borderlines between Kogi and Nasarawa State. It's even suspected that there are a number of havens in Nasarawa State, including Rukubi and some other areas like Kiena and Doma. We are in constant touch with the governor of Nasarawa State, and we continue to share intelligence. But a number of times when the attacks happen, the attackers run back into Nasarawa State.
Okay, you talked about your borders now being penetrated easily. How also is the state government intervening?
I'm not coordinated.
Okay, can you hear me?
It's like I was listening to myself, and it was affecting my coordination in here. So I'm hearing you now.
Oh, okay, many thanks, Governor Alia. I said you talked about your borders being penetrated easily. How also is the state government intervening to ensure that the present tension eases and normalcy returns?
We had put a number of protective elements into place, including the civil protection guards, which we carved out. We also have some joint task force, one that existed before I came in, the Operation Zenda, which was very and remains very helpful. And then we also had to carve out an instant one, again, to support the system, which is the Anyamyo. The joint task force are an embodiment of the police, the military, the civil defense. Again, we also supported our system in this fight by the provision of 100 trucks and then 600 motorbikes. Let me kind of build a little context to this narrative of ours. The conflict and now the terrorism, it spanned for quite a lengthy period of time. It spans up to 22, 23 years ago, but then there was a traditional way of settlement. If the herders spoiled any crops, there was a negotiation and payment was done. But over time, that had disappeared, and then the aggression also increased, and then today we have what we have on hand. The federal government has been quite supportive of us. The last time we had numerous lives that we lost, we made a deep cry out to the federal government, and we were supported with 3 units of the MOPOL. This was precisely in Go local government, and then after that we had some bit of a break. There were less attacks. In 2023, when we came in, 17 local governments were under attacks. We fought this down to 9 local governments and then to 6 local governments. And then now, with the 6 local governments, when the 3 units of MOPOL were deployed, they supported us. We fought down to 3 local governments. And these are the 3 local governments now that are in the front lines of these attacks. Guma local government is one of them. Apa and Gwe West. With the support we've been receiving from the federal government, remains a very strong hope that we're going to return peace to the shores of the state. As at yesterday, the Inspector General of Police and Chief of Defense staff was also in the state. So we were at the site, they saw things for themselves, and they rekindled hope in the citizenry. They now deployed even more hands to come in, and it is our hope that a turnaround and absolute change in the dynamics of even fighting the attacks will come to bear.
Reverend Father Hyacinth earlier, but just before I let you go, the president is due to come to Benue State tomorrow. What are the preparations like to receive the president when he comes to Benue State?
Warmed up to have him in the state. This is one of the states he calls home, and what is befalling us pains him very deeply, and I think this is why he's even coming himself to see for himself and to reassure the state and to let everyone know that he's working. Truly, the president is working and working quite hard. When one horrible incident takes place, it seems as if no one is at work. Let it be for the record that it could have been worse. Truly, it could have been worse based on the intel we have. So he's been very supportive of us, and we are firm belief that his presence here in the state is going to breathe again new hope into all the citizenry. His presence here again is going to tell us how much he's been working, and I've not let anything hidden to our people here in the state, that it is through the instrumentality and support of the president that all the efforts we've put in trimming down the attacks from 17 local governments to 9, and then to 6, and then today to 3 local governments that are in the red hot zone. I strongly believe that his visit is going to bring good consolation to the immediate families of the affected, and then to the local government and to the rest of us, the state.
Thanks, Reverend Father Hyacinth earlier, the governor of Benue State, for your input, and we do hope that the president's visit will bring a lasting solution to this situation in Benue. Many thanks for your input.
Thank you so very much, sir.
The chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, has extended the forum's condolences to Governor Alia and the people of Benue State over the attack in communities of Yelawata and the Daudun in Guma local government. A statement by the governor on behalf of the forum condemns act, describing it as affront on human dignity. It expresses solidarity with the families, government and people of Benue State. The governor prayed for the repose of the souls of the departed and pledges cooperation, support and assistance to Benue State and to restore peace. You're watching the Network News. More reports after this break. Thanks for being there. Advancing the status of healthcare service in Borno State is one of the cardinal principles of Governor Zulum's administration, which is also captured in the 10-year strategic initiative and 25-year development framework. Muhammad Goni reports the strides made by the Zulum administration in the health sector in the second year of his second term in office.
As part of continued efforts at bringing accessible, affordable and quality healthcare delivery to the teeming populace, the present administration had either constructed new healthcare facilities in local government areas across the 3 senatorial zones or rehabilitated existing ones. Those include the newly constructed 150-bed capacity General Hospital Damboa, eye and dental hospitals in Biu and Mongono.
na yi mara godiya sosai saboda na zo operation kudin magani kusan a cikin kashi 3 kusan kashi 2 wannan kusan duk kyauta ne na biyu operation ma gashi kyauta ne.
Renovation work was also carried out at the general hospitals Ngala, Damasak, Goza, Azare, Bargu and Benishek, as well as complete reconstruction of Uba, Magumeri, Gubio and Mafa general hospitals. The state authorities in the period under review installed solar power with capacities ranging from maximum of 100 kVA to minimum of 25 kVA at 12 hospitals across 3 senatorial zones. Also procured laboratories, theater, X-ray, dialysis, as well as clinical equipment and reagents and consumables to hospitals across the state.
Under the current government, led by Professor Babagana Omar Azrin MNI, I think the state specialty hospital has seen tremendous growth and achievement. Now he has taken the bull by the horn. We've started enjoying our consolidated medical strategy scale, which is now at the same level with that of the federal.
The state authorities had undertaken renovation work on about 50 primary healthcare centers across towns and villages in the 3 senatorial zones, in addition to establishment of about 6 new ones. The Zulum administration is also establishing School of Nursing in Goza and Mongono. The Borno state government had demonstrated commitment to strengthening healthcare infrastructure and services by allocating 15% of the state's budget to the health sector in 2024 and 2025. This significant investment reflects government's dedication to improving the healthcare and well-being of its citizens. The state authorities had also taken far-reaching steps towards addressing the state's maternal mortality rate. Another iconic and innovative achievement in the Borno State healthcare sector is the use of technology to enhance services through digitalization of the healthcare sector to streamline financial transactions to improve transparency. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And away from health, United for Land, a Legacy, Our Future. The theme for this year's World Desertification and Drought Day is to discuss the urgent need to address the growing impact of land degradation and drought on global food systems in Nigeria. The Ministry of Environment, ECOWAS and key partners came together to forge a united path towards ending plastic pollution. Charles Alpha reports.
Over 2 billion hectares of land, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification says, are degraded, with up to 40% affected by desertification. 95% of it says, comes from land with about 3 billion mouths to feed by 2030, if more degraded lands are not restored by then. The theme for this year, United for Land, Our Legacy, Our Future, underscores the importance of collective responsibility in restoring land and building resilience against drought.
We have been trying to fence ourselves from the encroachment of the desert, which has been going on for a very long time. So we are doing quite a lot. That's why the government has come up with the Great Green Wall, which has been imbibed by other African countries in what we now call the Pan-African Great Green Wall.
ECOWAS has committed to addressing persistent challenge by adopting a regional regulation.
While we see plastic waste as a burden, this could be an avenue to sustain and uplift communities.
As the United Nations designates the month of June as World Environment Day, the Ministry of Environment, UNICEF, ECOWAS, the oil and gas sector, Oxfam and Ghana's own Zoom Lion are joining forces to collectively end plastic pollutions, with over 100,000 green actions by children and young people already recorded in Nigeria. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The federal government has officially kicked off the mobility CNG supply framework to promote the use of compressed natural gas CNG in the transportation sector. The framework, backed by the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNGI, seeks to provide affordable, cleaner fuel alternatives for vehicles nationwide. Lydia Sampson reports.
Though the framework started on the 4th of June this month, the official kickoff is bringing together key players to deepen awareness and encourage more players to take advantage of the evolving investment across the CNG mobility value chain.
The authority chief executive of the Nigerian midstream
Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency approved the concessionary pricing structure for auto gas CNG as one of the incentives Mr. President has approved for the auto CNG sector. What we are doing here today is to flag off the implementation of that concessionary pricing framework.
Stakeholders believe involving the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Gas Aggregator Company Nigeria Limited, marks a significant step towards operationalizing the framework and ensuring the lower cost of CNG for mobility is strictly for mobility purposes. Various presentations centered on the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative and its progression so far.
As I did, I'm sure we have about 250 that have the license to establish. We have various ones with the license to construct, and at the last check, I think we have about 100 with license to operate. This morning, we counted about 51 active.
Many of the gathering aligns with President Bola Tinubu's commitment to energy transition, economic growth, and climate change mitigation, positioning Nigeria as a leader in a clean transportation in Africa. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
As part of efforts to boost micro, small and medium enterprises, create jobs and enhance global competitiveness, Nigeria and 8 other member countries of the Developing 8 organization known as D8 have launched a landmark SME center in Abuja. Muplang Dakok reports.
We want to see this center grow to promote research, to promote financing of SME, and to promote trade access.
This marked more than just the unveiling of a building. It signals a united front by the D8 nations towards a shared economic prosperity. Representatives from Nigeria, Egypt, Bangladesh, and 6 other countries expressed optimism that the new center will help increase volume of trade among member nations from the current $146 billion to $500 billion.
Together, I believe, let us provide our entrepreneurs, especially the youth and our women entrepreneurs, with the tools that they need to thrive in an increasingly complex and competitive global environment.
With a combined population of more than 1 billion and huge untapped potential, the D8 bloc is poised to usher in new era of South-South cooperation, rooted in enterprise, innovation, and mutual prosperity.
But this D8 Center will become strategic. It will offer all of us a platform to share solutions, to harmonize standards, open up markets, leverage collective strength, and develop our countries by leveraging small and medium enterprises.
The ultimate goal is to scale inter D8 trade volume to $1 trillion by 2030. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
And gone are the days when the dreams of women and girls were left to wilt in silence. With the Lumina 2030 initiative, the federal government is planting new seeds of hope, nurturing every girl's journey from potential to power, from promise to purpose. In collaboration with subnational governments, the initiative is redefining what it means to invest in women not just as beneficiaries, but as builders of the nation's future. Zinret Timno reports.
12 pilot states, one common thread, persistent challenges, a high number of out-of-school children, limited access to education, and low representation of girls in classrooms. The idea is to test the waters, laying a solid foundation for women to ideate, access mentorship.
The Lumina initiative or the Lumina project is going to make use of the accelerated basic education curriculum that was developed by NARDC. The 9-year basic education now is summarized into a 3-year program in such a way that it gives opportunity really for these girls that have never enrolled in school.
At the core of the initiative are the subnational governments.
We solicit for enlistment from the community so that
at least everybody will be in the know of the opportunity that is being presented to ladies.
It aligns with our policy of making sure that the number of out-of-school children, particularly girls, has been reduced to the barest minimum.
So the program is to address these two issues. One, the mother. Two, the girl child.
The program is scheduled to begin in September 2025 in Abuja. Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
Over now to Benny Adams for the business news segment. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide. And still talking about business in the subnationals, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, says it is more than ever committed to improving the ease of doing business across the country. To this end, PEBEC is embarking on a tour across the country to provide opportunity for businesses, investors, and the business public to interact with a view to finding solutions that will enhance business growth. The engagements begin the 23rd of this month through to the mid of July. Now, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NATI, says the sum of 1.024 trillion naira was expended in the tertiary education trust fund from the education tax in the last 5 years. Executive Secretary of NATI, Dr. Oji Ogbonnaya Oji, stated this at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between NATI and TETFund in Abuja. Under the agreement, the NATI will provide real-time information on revenue accruals due to TETFund to guarantee transparency and support the fund in tracking remittances and utilization. AGI emphasized that NATI's role would be to continuously support TETFund with timely, credible, and independently valid data on revenue accruals from the extractive sector. Executive Secretary of TETFund, Sonny Echonu, noted that the agreement would also define a framework for getting accurate and up-to-date data, while the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Ebel Olumuyiwa, described the MOU signing as a welcome development and a foundation for sustainable growth in the education sector. And looking at the markets at this time, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we'll see a total of 783.3 million shares in 23,170 deals, corresponding to a market value of 25.666 billion were traded. Today's data shows 9% improvement in volume, 17% improvement in turnover, and 5% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 72.5 trillion naira. And on the aggregate, 128 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 29 gainers and 35 losers. And looking at the top losers, Transpower lost 295 naira 70 kobo per share, while Wando on the second spot lost 58 naira 25 kobo, and LLAGs 4 naira 29 kobo. And on the top trades at this time, Zenith Bank came tops, having traded 96.2 million volume of shares valued at 4.2 billion naira, and GT Co traded 83.3 million volume of shares valued at 6.2 billion naira. And the third spot is UBA with 65.1 million volume of shares traded in 2.1 billion naira. This is it and business at this time.
Thanks, Benny, for the business news. Let's take another break. News continues.